And there we go. Good evening yet again, interwebs, Powered Serenity insiders, the good old face tube. Welcome to another edition of Empowered Live with myself, Michael, and Angie. As always, good topic tonight.
Yes, I think so. I like the topic for tonight.
Me too. I think it's fitting because we're so close to Halloween. I mean, that's why the candy's in the stores, right?
It's think. I mean, but my gosh, that's like 2 whole months away already. Still, whatever. I can't buy candy for Halloween until 2 days before Halloween. Just candy does not last around here. I don't know who
should
eats
wait
it.
Until 2 days afterwards, and then it's all like 50% off.
That is also an excellent point. Sometimes I just, between you and I, turn the light off and pretend like we're not home. Cars in the garage. Don't turn the porch light on.
In my younger 20s, when I was living out on my own, I would do the same thing. But we were rambunctious because we were in our 20s, so people heard us anyway. So it wasn't the best way to go about being incognito, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. No, on incognito, we are very accustomed to doing such a thing. So
there you go.
But I mean, it's not that I don't like to hand out candy, but it's like one every 15 or 20 minutes. You finally get settled back into whatever you were doing, and then the doorbell rings, and the dog barks like crazy, and
you just gotta.
Otherwise, I would sit out in front for a couple hours with a bowl of candy. But that's boring.
Yeah, but you got Bentley, yeah.
Yeah,
you could just leave the bowl out there and
I have done that. I have done that, and I mean we literally don't we only get 20 or 30 go by, so usually with parents, and if one takes the whole thing, oh well, it's all gone, right?
Yep.
Anyway, how did we get on vampires, right?
Vampires. That was the whole point of that original jest.
I know, but
right.
Then we went on our what do you call it? Rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole tangent.
Yeah, tangent. That's a good one too. Yep. Anyway.
So energy vampires and boundaries, two things pretty well linked. Because
very well linked, right? I mean, and to me, energy vampires is another one of those words. And I think that we should accumulate a list of those words. You know those words I'm talking about. But energy vampires is one that I think were it just to be given a different name, it wouldn't sound as nefarious as it does, right? Because it's, it's an energy drain. That's all it is. People don't do that on purpose, although I suppose there are some who, on some level, some people who, do it on purpose, but, some people are unhealed, unwell. Unhealed is a good word, right? If we're going to work, just dip our toes into the energy work world as we do. Those triggers and those things that we need to work on within ourselves. That's what creates those energy drains. I mean, I remember having someone I knew that was literally exhausting. She, so needy all the time. Everything was a problem. It was exhausting to be around her. So energy vampire, right? Like somebody that you're with that creates a situation or circumstance that is exhausting. So what do you do about it? So what's the answer? First, I think take the charge out of the word.
Right.
What about energy vampires? Can't expand your energy because what about energy vampires? That's not how it works. in my mind. And I guess we should always preface the show by saying these are our thoughts. This is what we believe. And if you choose not to believe it, fantastic. If you choose to shift your thinking a little bit, maybe, or shift your perception to sort of see what we mean, that's okay too. Right? Not trying to convince you. We're trying to empower you.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and I think, yeah, if it were just a different word, I mean, it wouldn't, you're right, it wouldn't seem so nefarious, because it's, like you just said, a lot of people don't do it on purpose. I don't think they're even consciously aware that they're doing it.
No, right.
But you can be consciously aware of being in that situation or circumstance, and then setting forward boundaries for yourself to where that particular drain just doesn't affect on you. And that, I mean, that can be as simple as disengaging from the situation.
Right.
I mean, I think that's the number one easiest one, is you just disengage.
And that doesn't mean eliminate, right? The person necessarily. Depends on the person, but you know, you don't have to go straight to eliminate. Disengage. Hey, this is not working for me right now. Right? Because that's sometimes, isn't it? Those energy drains are that back and forth, that banter, or whatever you want to call it. And to me, this is not working for me right now. There's no response to that. You know, so you disengage, you shut it down, and you say, you know, let's move on and see you tomorrow, or see you later, or see you never, whatever. But disengage, like disconnect, sever that cord. I mean, if you want to go into the energy work world, as we do, Archangel Michael, energy work, sever the cord. We have our methods of doing that. But stand in your own power, right?
Right. That's what it is. Take responsibility for your actions and the things that you put yourself into, because I'm sure that person that you know, were involved in that drain with, you know, with everything was going wrong for them, they had all these problems, blah, 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 blah. I can almost guarantee you that person is not taking responsibility for their place in where they're at.
No, and the truth is, that's really interesting that you said that, because I could see that in that situation, I would also have that responsibility, right? Not to not be an energy drain, but to stand in my power and say, hey, my responsibility in that situation is to disengage, because otherwise I'm a victim of that energy drain. Right.
And then it's a you know, classic lose-lose scenario. That person's not going to better themselves. You're going to be not balanced and unwell, just like they were, kind of a misery loves company kind of deal. But if, you know, misery doesn't have any company, well, now it's just got to deal with itself.
And either heal or not, right?
Right. Again, got to take responsibility.
There you go. I mean, that's brilliant. That's really brilliant. I mean, take responsibility for your own state. Your own state. All the way from beginning to end.
Because it is 100% up to you. And a good way to do that is to set yourself up with some boundaries, right? I didn't know what boundaries really were until my mid 20s. I didn't really have any. You know, I just didn't know any better. Not only was I not aware of areas in my life where boundaries would have really helped me, but I just also wasn't aware that boundaries were really a thing, and, you know, how to set those up and what they can actually do for you.
That's interesting, because I had some boundaries when I was younger. I didn't realize that's what they were. And they were energetic boundaries, or intentional boundaries, I suppose. Because, and just a really quick example is, I had one that what this was a hard and fast rule. If a job made me cry, I'm out. I'm gone. And I started with that rule when I was like 16 or 17 years old, when I worked in pizza places with young guys that like to do things like put anchovies in your drinks and things like that. And it, never got that far in one of those places, but I did have one. I had actually two places that pushed me to the point of tears. Both times I walked out. That was by the time I was maybe 23 or 24. And then for the rest of the time that I worked for people, it never happened again, even in places where I saw it happening to other people. If the boss calls me stupid, I'm gone, especially if it's in front of anyone. I'm out. I worked in a restaurant in Hoffman Estates where he did it all the time. All the time.
Sounds like a
never
jolly
did
work
it to
environment. Well, see, there you go.
Right?
And why not?
On some level, somewhere, he knew that my purse would be in my hand. I'd be out the door. Here you go. Here's the tickets. I'm gone. That's it. That's my rule. So what is, got a little worked up there for a second. But what's the lesson in that? Is that when you set up boundaries, you have to mean it, right? You have to be willing to act on it. If you're not willing to act on it, then it's not really a boundary. It's an idea, right? What is it? How do you put that? A choice is only an idea until you put it into action. Is that is that right?
Yep.
So whether you ever have to use it or not, you have to be willing to use it. And it never happened to me. Never. That one never. And I saw it happen. I was in a couple of places. I worked in Hoffman Estates that it happened all the time in front of customers. It's not work for me. Not a good plan.
I think and I think, just to incorporate some energetics into that, right? You had that super strong, hard, fast boundary set up, and you meant it. And it's not like you ever had to voice this boundary to that particular boss, where in that situation, he was constantly berating everyone else. So you were standing in your power in that boundary, and you were emanating that out, right? So even without saying it, it's still out there in the air.
That is what I believe. That is 100%. You hit the nail on the head. 100% what I believe. I believe that you have to believe that works, right? Oh, I'm going to do this, but I'm not really sure. I don't think that cuts it.
Nope.
But I meant it. I stood in it, and I would act on it if I was given the given the reason to do so. So I think that's the same thing with when you're in the grocery store, in places, because that's one of the things people are like, oh, I think one of the things you hear all the time is people wanting to contract their energy or pull their energy in. When you start moving into the energy work world, the auras, energy fields, whatever you want to call it. And I think personally that pulling your energy in like that is the exact opposite of the right thing to do. Because I think you expand your energy, you push those people further away. It minimizes your reaction because, right, that drain is a reaction to something that's going on. Right? You think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're definitely, as humans, we have emotions, we have reactions, we have that emotional charge. And, I heard somebody say once, like, emotions are just, it's emotion, it's energy in motion, at a very rapid rate. So that's why our emotions are able to take such hold of us and to take us, outside of our good, happy place. But they don't always have to be bad emotions. It could be joy or what have you, when you're overcome with joy, it can come out of really nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Those are energetic reactions for sure, because I mean, that's the whole story, right? About me being a sponge for negative energy, which I'm not going to go into now because we only have an hour. But that's what put me on this road, right? And then when I realized, no, the statement was actually not quite correct. I was a sponge for energy.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was negative energy or enthusiasm, I sucked it up because I didn't know any better, right?
Right.
And so who's the energy vampire then? I don't know. Was I? Maybe. Was I just reacting to everything? You know, I was definitely pulling in the energy from other people. So the whole concept to me of energy vampire now is almost ridiculous. You know, it's a give, it's a take, it's a, you know, and if I had the knowledge then that I had now, and I found myself in a room with, you know, anywhere from 50 to 200 to 300 to 1,000 people, all from a you know, a franchise organization,
Right.
For 10 years. And I was famous because I couldn't keep my trap shut, right? Like everybody knew who I was. That and my last name. But because everybody wanted to know how to say it. I'm not telling, by the way. But anyway, if I had understood what I know now, I would have been able to, you know, put up that glass cube or manage my energy in a way that I could be less reactive,
right,
and more in
to the
charge
energy
of,
in the room.
Yep, and more in charge of
Take some
what I
responsibility
did.
for your state.
Right, taking responsibility for my state, exactly. So, and I think, what about this? What do you think about this? So at the time, I didn't understand the concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that once you begin to understand that concept, if you go back to not managing your energy, you're worse off than you were before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, you know, if you want to look at it like a line graph, you know, if this is your neutral or your old neutral, and then you started taking responsibility. There we go. Taking responsibility for your actions. Now your new neutral's here. And now when you fall from that, you know, it seems larger because you're probably going to go past your old neutral, and now your gap of state is going to seem wider.
That's brilliant. Perception, right? It's perception.
Right. Now you have a brand new awareness of what's over here. I need a widescreen camera because I'm very handsy.
Yeah, right. Wow. So circle that right around to what we said in the beginning, that our conversations are such, right, that we're not telling you what to think. What we're telling you what we think in order to shift your perception.
There you go.
And that's that, and that's that. Wow. You just never know what we're going to learn when we talk. I love it. I just love it. Like, how brilliant was it to come up with the idea? Like, we have these talks, we talk about these things, we write them down, we don't write them down.
Usually don't.
No, right? And then they're just gone, right? They're out there in the ether, which doesn't diminish the value of the conversation.
Right.
But I think there's some real nuggets of wisdom here that we're sharing, even if only for ourselves, which is not our hope, because our mission, right? Empower people, empower, which I just tickles me. Empower. Anyway, yeah.
That's good stuff.
Like,
right. So then let's circle it all back to the topic then of energy vampires.
Energy vampires.
So I personally don't believe that that's really a thing. Like that word, that word doesn't have any weight or value to me personally.
No.
I think it is just a general term that people use because they don't have any other ones in their awareness, and that one spreads pretty rapidly.
Well, so do you suppose that some of it is, is it kind of related to the whole, I don't want to have a tarot reading because what if I get bad news, or I'm afraid of things I can't see. I'm afraid of ghosts. Like, is it more fun to believe there's an actual energy vampire? You know what I mean? Like, I don't do horror flicks. I don't read. I stopped after I read The Shining in 1970, whatever it was. I was like, that's it. No, because it was too easy for me to go there, right? Like, even then I could go there. Like what we do in meditation. I went there. I'm like, nope, I don't like it here. I'm out.
Yep. And reading and Stanley Kubrick's version of the story is much different on film, but I mean, especially if you're reading a book, because then you're internalizing all of that instead of just watching a picture. You're creating that whole setup. You're creating the scenery. Granted, it's being guided by the author and the writer, but still got to go through your filter, right?
Right. And that's a form of input, isn't it? If you think about it. And it energy vampires, energy drains, boundaries, all of those things, they all kind of play together, right? If you want to speak to an energy vampire in particular, what was it that we said earlier today, that the lore, the folklore about the vampire, maybe it was yesterday, I don't know, we talk all the time, that the lore about a vampire is that you have to let them in, you have to invite them in, right? You have to invite them in. So the idea that you have to invite the vampire in, to me tells me that there's a familiarity, right, between you and the person. Because I think that some people see an energy vampire as somebody running around at the Walmart trying to suck energy from everybody, And do I think that's possible, that somebody might think that they can do that? Sure, of course. Do I think that anybody could possibly get into my energy and drain off my energy anymore? Like that? No. Because not happening.
You're in control of, you're taking responsibility for your state and what you allow in.
Right.
As opposed to, that person can't, just like the lore behind it, that person can't get into your energy past your boundaries unless you open the door for them and allow them in.
And I mean, if we know each other, we've spoken for a long time now, so know that anytime we've had conversations around my issues with energy vampires, or you either, it's always been somebody we know.
No, it has to be.
Always.
More often than not.
Yeah,
like
always.
99 to maybe 1%, probably a little bit greater difference than that.
Well, the last two times it happened to me, it was somebody I knew. Right? So, yeah, so what is that? I mean on some level, we care about the person.
Right. I was just going to say, I remember a little while ago, you were discussing the differences between responsibility and obligation to someone we know. And I think that, that was probably creating a drain in her life, because she felt, I forget how you worded it, so I don't want to use the wrong responsibility versus obligation, because I really enjoyed it. So I'm not going to try to butcher it, but
that's a good one. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it is a good one. She thought that she had, or she was creating an obligation for the person when it wasn't really a responsibility, or however you worded it.
You are on the right track, because it's the different a responsibility is something you've agreed to do. An obligation is something that you create. Basically, you create on your own. I don't remember exactly how I worded it now. Damn it!
It's one of those things we should have wrote down.
Go? You know what? I bet I do have it written down somewhere. Sure. I'm not going to look now because we're on our talk show, but You know, the idea, right? I mean, that's the whole concept of what are you trying to bring into your life? What are you trying to create in your life? If you're trying to create freedom in your life, then you can't go around creating obligation.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, so the idea was that this particular person, there was a family member who was on the needy side, and this person just took it upon themselves to be the one to step up and do everything. That created obligation.
Yep.
Obligation is the polarity of freedom. Oh, good. I like that. Thank
That was
you.
good.
Obligation is the polarity of freedom. Now, the reason that the responsibility thing came up is that, not to confuse responsibility and obligation. You have a responsibility to make your car payment if you agree to do that. That's not really an obligation. It's a responsibility as a human being. If you have
Right.
children, you have a responsibility to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a choice to have children or to keep children, or, you know, whatever. Keep children. That sounds like 101 Dalmatians or something. You know what I mean.
Yep.
So yeah. So, man, you know, there's so many concepts that we touch on and move into. Sometimes it feels so huge. Like, how did we forget about that? That's really good information that you pulled back out into the air.
I use that one pretty frequently, actually. Not frequently
that's
enough
good.
to remember the exact how you worded it, but I like.
Well, I think it
I like that
probably,
idea, you know, because
yeah.
you know, because we're just talking about being responsible for your own state, and you know, sometimes you can create these obligations for yourself, and then that limits your responsibility to yourself, right? And then that's how
Yeah.
you really allow these drains in, and you know,
Well, I guess
these
if you
draining
think about
situations.
it, an obligation is a drain, right?
There you go.
An obligation is a drain. If you create, and I do believe there's a difference between responsibility and obligation. And are some obligations appropriate? Maybe, but you have to manage them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's really like, if you think about, somebody once said to me, well, you know, as humans, we're all trying to transcend polarity. I'm like, if you transcend polarity, you're dead. 3D world, polarity, period. Right? But you can work inside of polarity. So if you want to create financial abundance for yourself, you cannot, every time you get money, run out to the boat and drop it all in a slot machine. That's the opposite. That's the polarity of financial freedom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is giving it away as fast as it shows up. It's really the same thing. It's two sides of abundance. One side has, you know, money, the other side doesn't. It's still right. So yeah, I mean, it is. That's really like, there's something bigger to that whole concept of taking responsibility for your current state. Like, I think you hit on something.
I mean, well,
I think you
that's
hit on
almost
something.
that's kind of the essence of the whole empowered, right? I mean, if you're
It really
if
is.
you're gonna be taking responsibility for yourself, you need to be empowered with, you know, how you live your life. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to create healthy boundaries. You're not going to have enough power to create healthy boundaries, and then all these draining situations, and you know, any number of other things that we talk about and are going to probably talk about on here. You know, just kind of weasel their way in, find their way in.
Sure do, don't they?
They're good like that, you know. It's good.
Yes. It all circles around, but you know that that is the truth, though. When you put it like that, I mean, that is taking responsibility for your current state is the foundation of what we are working towards. And if you look at the idea of what we're working towards, empowering people to understand that they can make connections, connect to the energy, interpret the energy, understand the energy for themselves in a way that allows them to live in alignment with their own spiritual, their own divine self-expression, their own soul expression, you know, whatever words you want to put to it. They have to take all responsibility for it. So it's not us telling you how to do it. It's us telling you how to connect to it and figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe that's why we have so much trouble with feng shui, because it's such a hard and fast method. You know, you and I think feng shui is very complicated. It is very complicated. It works very, very well for a very large number of people, but it's too complicated for it to even work for me, because it gives me, what do you call that when you can't hardly breathe? You know, when you need a paper bag, hyperventilate.
Hyperventilating. There you go.
It makes me want to hyperventilate. So, which is interesting because maybe it's my thing. I just heard the.
Did you hear
ghost.
it?
Yeah. But I very, very like in the background, and it is very possible that it's these earbuds.
Could be a StreamYard thing with some audio processing.
Oh, you know what? It could be also that too. Anyway,
so pay attention to in the future.
There you go. All right. So back to where we were. I'm going to ground my energy a little bit so I can get up and get myself up out of the ether. The idea. That's interesting. I mean, that's where your power is, right? In your boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That is where all your power is, in your boundaries. If you have a chink in your armor, although it's also, I guess, important to put out there that we are talking about boundaries, not barriers, because I think that's two different things. I think nothing comes your way if you have too many barriers, right?
Barriers and walls, and I think I agree.
Yeah. So,
and I think, you know, barriers and walls are not something that we consciously put up. I think those happen from circumstance. You know, I think that's our brain's way of putting things up to keep us safe, right?
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Whereas boundaries are, you know, that's something that you put in place because you have an awareness of something consciously.
Oh, that's really good, right? Like that is a very excellent explanation of the difference. So
we should jot that one down too.
Yeah, I'm working on it, but I lost it already. So barriers, boundaries you put in place, and barriers
it's like
are due to circumstances.
There you go.
Created by things like trauma and. Oh, interesting. So in the plight of an energy worker, that's a really good thing to understand, you know. I mean, in the plight, it's not really a plight, like that was kind of a silly thing to say, but you know, in the exercise of being an energy worker, I mean, because let's face it, that's what you and I do. We're having these conversations. We're talking about energy. It's a lot of fun. We laugh a lot, but when y'all come right down to it, that's what we do. We are energy workers. We play in the energy. We explore the energy. We work with other people in their energy to help them find and eliminate things that are creating energetic imprints or patterns or whatever in their life. So the understanding whether a person's got a boundary or a barrier surrounding them while you're in, doing energy work is not a bad awareness to have.
Awareness, yeah. Agreed.
So I'm really glad that you were able to say that all in like 1 second when it took me when it took me like 25 minutes to explain it. I was trying to see how many people are watching. We have somebody named Debbie watching today.
Debbie was on, I don't know if it was last week or the Well, it had to have been.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that,
she
right? 'Cause
was.
it was the intro. Yeah, so it was. Well, welcome back, Debbie.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
You remove the barrier, meaning the person who has it, right? Is that what
Right.
you're? Yeah. No,
Oh, yeah, I would say I would say no.
I would
I
say
I would I mean I would say
in
no,
my
it just doesn't automatically do that.
right,
Is that
right. It's got to take action by the person, because otherwise,
the person has a barrier for a reason to protect
right.
them from something, right? So can energy work get oh no, don't be sorry, Debbie. Don't be sorry at all. That's why we love it when somebody brings something up that we can talk about and work
Oh yeah,
through.
no, I'm yeah, comments and things like that. Bring them
Yes,
on. No, I love it.
absolutely. Please don't
'Cause-
be sorry at all. So the person has a barrier for a reason. Maybe it's a trauma, whatever. Let's just eliminate why did they, what the reason might be.
Yep.
They have a barrier for a reason. So do you think, so like she said, the Reiki removes the barrier, energy work, well, whatever words you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I think that energy work, first, I think that a person who's got any kind of a barrier like that, it's not a one session and done, right? It's
Right.
never one session and done. But I don't think the barrier goes in one session. But I don't think that I'm saying that a person who has a barrier can't be helped by energy work.
Mm-hmm.
How's that?
Yeah.
Like the
I think you
energy
can
work.
offer good. It's a good support for that trauma being not necessarily recognized, but because I feel sometimes when we have barriers and walls, I don't think that we are consciously aware of their origin or why they're there.
No, I agree with that for
And I think
sure.
sometimes that origin story gets tuned out.
I agree with that too.
I don't know. I guess it just kind of depends on the situation of the person, because we both believe that you don't necessarily have to revisit something for it to be assisted.
Oh, look at
But
that, Debbie. Fantastic. You threw the two of us on our butts.
no, I like it. But
Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too. Please. Me too. We definitely, okay, so let's go through this. We believe that you can release without knowing or revisiting. Ah, there you go. So it's both of you working together, the energy worker and the person.
yeah, there you go. I like
Right.
that collaborative effort. Yeah, I don't think that it's my mind instantly went to, that the energy work being done was just gonna like zap it and it would crumble down.
That's kind of where my mind went to.
I think that
And
there's
so,
definitely some steps to be taken to, bring that down a little bit.
right. So maybe, okay. So can we hang with this for a second? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we are, that it's what we do. So you're working with someone. This is that place where you either feel the energy back up, or however you might sense that a person's got a barrier in place, right? So now, completely lost whatever it was that I saw. There it goes. That's how it goes sometimes. You have to invite the person to release that barrier, right? Like
There you go.
a person that's got a barrier. I think that if you go in with the conscious idea that you're working with somebody with a barrier as an energy worker, do you have a frequency available to you that can remove that barrier? We do. Does everyone? I don't know, but I know that we do. We remove the barrier without working on it with the client at all. The client leaves, the barrier puts itself right back up.
Yep.
Right? Because they have no awareness of any kind of shift. So I think it's like if you're going to work with somebody and you have a sense of a barrier, you have to discover not necessarily the trauma that feeds the barrier, but the energy that's keeping that barrier in place. So is it limiting belief? Is it trauma? Is it childhood something? Is it any number of things, which we have our lists, right? Is it what life area is it? All of those things that we do in an assessment. And then say, look, there is a barrier here. Is this something you're even comfortable with taking down? And then let them choose. Oh, yay. Thank you.
Yes, I think it's important to identify the barrier, the type of barrier, but not necessarily the exact experience as to why it was there. I think that's
right.
a good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, it could be like, I could see where there's some kind of barriers, like maybe let's say, maybe let's say they have a barrier of against people talking behind their back because they walked up to a garage and they heard people talking inside the garage calling them crazy. Okay, I'm not saying who I know that might have heard or not heard such a thing, but right. However, barrier, right? The barrier is up. It creates an energy of, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter what those people are saying, they're calling me crazy or doing something. Then, because there is an awareness, you can use the emotional clearing technique, right? Which is, so there are other techniques as well that we have, that not just we have, I mean, all kinds of, body talk and Silva and, there's all kinds of methods you can use to find and take the power away from a situation in the past to keep it from draining your energy, right?
There you go.
That one still gets me every now and then. I don't know why it keeps reasserting itself, but it's not really a barrier anymore. It's just an irritant, like a pee under my mattress. Anyway. Wow, Debbie. So Debbie, what do you do? Like, are you an energy worker? What's your because we're always looking for guests on this talk show.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on and bringing up a good
really good thing for us to talk about.
Yep.
Oh, look, crickets.
Well, it's that
it's a delay.
It's the delay.
Isn't there a delay?
There is a delay.
I think there's a delay.
Commenting on like a post and then us seeing it. I'm not sure how long it is, but I know the delay on YouTube's like 10 to 15 seconds. So, and I did just see a viewer drop off, and then oh, nice.
There you go. Hey, once an energy worker, always an energy worker.
That's right. That is right.
Oh, wanting to get back into it. Maybe she doesn't need to take Reiki.
There you go.
Oh my goodness. That's a shameless plug. We teach something other than Reiki, but we love it. Our students love it. Oh. So I hope. Do we see you also on Mondays and Thursdays? In the, what do you call that? that we do on
super
Sunday and
awesome
Thursday?
extravaganza of energy balancing.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
got,
that.
I don't think it's gotten a finalized name, and I don't think it ever will.
No, I don't think it will either, but
Where's the fun in that? Yeah, so on Thursdays at 7, so same time tonight, just tomorrow, and then Sundays at 10, we do a midweek and a beginning of the week energy balancing.
session. That'll work.
There you go.
Oh, but you know what? You can watch the video.
You can always watch them again. Yeah, even though it's just it's a live stream. Obviously, you can't watch it before that because it's live. You can always go back and watch them afterwards.
Yep, and the energy amazingly stays in there. Like, that's amazing. So the last one was the last one. You know what? They're all good. So
you're very welcome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you're finished watching here, you can go and watch that one, tonight, even if you want to. So that was the idea of doing it in the group, so you'd have access to those videos and be able to go back in and watch them. And of course, you could watch them on YouTube, which, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and then click the what so you get a notification?
Make sure to hit the bell so you get all of our notifications of all things. Ring the bell, hit the bell, click the bell.
You know what we need? We need MPowered Live coffee cups to drink out of.
I probably know a guy for that.
Probably do. There you go. This is so fun. Like, I can't even stand how fun this is. Did we really? Yeah, okay, you go to. We'll see you soon.
Yep. Oh, Nicholas, how's it going, cousin? It's my cousin Nick.
Hey, Nick.
He's pretty funny too.
I enjoy that. I enjoy that. Although I don't know. Oh, you're most welcome, Debbie. Have a great night. Did we miss anything?
I don't know.
We didn't talk about garlic.
Oh, that's right. We're gonna have a lot of garlic jokes and stuff. I spent all my humor on the first jest about it being so close to Halloween because there was candy in the store. That was.
Oh yeah, that was
humorous brain power for that
one. I don't know. Talking about Halloween candy, as far as I'm concerned, they could take those little peanut butter, orange, and black things and ship them off to somewhere, the bottom of the ocean, maybe. And then there's circus peanuts and candy corn.
Circus peanuts.
No, thank you.
Pass. Hard pass. Yeah, but
anyway.
Yeah, that was really good with the barriers. That was nice.
Yeah, that was really, really good. That was really good.
Yeah, I usually don't get that until outside of the classroom. So
yeah. Speaking of classroom, we've got a master class coming up on Friday and Saturday. That'll be fun. Hopefully, we'll have some stories to tell from that. Some energy explorations we'll do. One day we'll do an episode about how we explore the energy. Maybe we can send some energy and play in the energy, right? Like, why not? I mean, if everything is energy, which I believe, we should be able to start phasing ourselves in and out on the screen. Just saying.
Wait till I get my green screen hooked up from the move, then I'll do that all the time.
Oh, there you go.
There's still some rearranging to be done in the command center. It'll get there.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
There you go. Yeah.
Anyway, so did we miss anything?
I don't know. I think that was pretty good. I think that was
yeah, I do too. I think.
Little
all right, that's it, folks. Have a good. No. Just kidding.
We're I don't know. We packed a lot in there.
Yeah, we did.
Tangent. I mean, relevant tangents too.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess if I had anything at all to say about the initial subject, and I do love the idea of us taking on these sort of hot button words, you know, empath, energy vampire, you know, those things, the death card in tarot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you can take Bram Stoker out of your thought process when you decide what an energy vampire is, I think that you can really have a significant impact on your life, right? Because if you understand what an energy vampire is, and then you also understand how to take responsibility for your state of being, you're gonna create a fantastic shift in your life, right? You can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help it. So that's kind of, I mean, like, what are we doing? Are we dragging these things out into the, you know, into the light or what? I don't know. Like, I just, you know, it's those things. It is that, what do you call that? Collective consciousness, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. You know, it's like any scary movie when they, you know, when they're dealing tarot cards. The first thing that comes up is the death card. And then if you know anything about tarot,
Right.
the
Quite the
death
opposite.
card does not mean anything, has nothing to do with death. So that's the idea, like, empower people to understand and connect and choose for themselves instead of all that, you know. I mean,
I think
there's
a
a lot of
lot of that
crap
came
on.
up on our last week's too, because I think was that last week? It had to have been. We were talking about
Signs. Oh my
signs.
gosh.
That's it. There we go.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. I want to show you something.
$20 says it's a sign. Yeah. So while she's gone, every Wednesday we do this little talk show at 7, talk about all kinds of wacky, weird, energetic things, self-help tools, things to just help get you empowered. And then Sundays
I
at
could
10
have just
a.m. we do
told
it.
you, but it's kind of dry now.
I'll finish that shameless plug later.
Oh, you were giving a
Yeah,
shameless plug?
It was a good plug.
So
It's hard to
it
see
dried
against
up
the
a little
light.
bit. It's a clover. Wait, I can't figure out where my camera is. It was. So I'm in the pool. We were in the pool earlier, cleaning the pool,
Mhm.
like the cloudy water, because it got cold. Whatever. And this is like a picked 3-leaf clover that just appeared in the pool and was floating.
Nice.
Like with the little stem and everything. I know you probably can't see it. See the
You can see it a
stem?
little bit, yeah.
And I mean, in the pool, like what?
Right.
Like what? Did a bird? No, it's a sign. I'm gonna go with it's a sign from a leprechaun that abundance and gold is on its way coming towards us. So there you go.
We just
I'm
need some
gonna
rain for the
take it
rainbows,
as-
and then you can track down
Saw a
that pot of
rainbow
gold at the end.
yesterday.
Well, there you go. Did you go to the end?
Was it yesterday? Did you ever actually see the end of a rainbow?
Have you ever tried?
No. Well, I mean, it depends. You know, like I've seen the end of a rainbow at the top, you know, when the cloud, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, it was when it rained 87 drops the other day. Where I was in the pool then too and saw the rainbow.
Nice.
So that's 2 signs in the last 2 times I've been in the pool.
All about abundance.
Saying.
Is that what your takeaway is going to be? Since we were talking about last week of, you know, your interpretation and how you. That's where you're going.
I mean,
what else?
You know, 3-leaf clover. Like, what else could it be? Gold, rainbow, gold. It's got to be abundance, right? Money's on its way. I'm just going to put this out there, but universe, you could hurry up a little bit. I'm just saying. Like, anyway. Oh. Wrong side with the microphone on the ground. Anyway, wow. How fast does this hour go?
I know, right?
Crazy, right?
A lot faster than I think both of us anticipated.
Yeah.
Every time.
So what shameless plug did I
Oh,
interrupt?
I was just using up the free time instead of me ranting about the thoughts in my brain. I figured I would not scare anyone away and just put in a shameless plug about the other things we have going on throughout the week.
Fantastic. And now that you mention it, seeing as it is a shameless plug, we put a link on the MPowered Serenity page to schedule remote sessions with us. And we have figured out a way to do a remote energy oracle session. Just saying. So that just really, what does it do? It bumps up the information that we have access to when we're doing the work. I'd say that's a good way to put it, right?
There you go. Yeah. So if you like on Sundays at 10 and Thursdays at 7, if you tune in for those energy rebalancings that we do and you want something a little more personalized, sign up for a remote session. There you go.
Yeah. Yep. And we've got it set up where it's one link, but when you go inside, you can choose either one of us, whichever one you want to schedule with. So easy peasy, right?
Indeed.
It's a real easy link, and you can
click it,
pick a day and all that.
There we
go. I think
we're good. I think that was a
wow.
good one. I really liked.
Man, how fast did that hour go? I'll tell you. You know what? Throw in the comments though of this video if you have any ideas or things you'd like to hear us talk about. Because I mean, we come up with the topics on our own, but we certainly wouldn't mind inviting someone in as a guest if they've got something they want to, or actually just talking about it, right? You can just give it to us to talk about too.
Yep.
We don't have to make you
no reason to put anyone on the spot.
Right. And we all know how I love being put on the spot. So
same.
Yes. That is another thing that you and I have in common.
Of the many things, the ever-growing list.
Yep, including the gray streak, right? Wherever it went. I have one here. That is hilarious. Like, of course. Anyway, okay.
One day we'll stop being surprised. Doubt it.
I kind of enjoy being surprised,
Right?
Kind of enjoy being surprised.
I agree.
Anyway, okay. So
there we go.
There we go. Don't forget to tune in next week when we talk about
something.
Whatever we come up with. I don't know. Maybe next week we should make it that week that we talk about,
Yeah.
We'll see.
We can keep the
we'll keep the suspense going, right?
We'll keep the spooky talks going because we're so close to Halloween.
Maybe. Oh, what? Halloween is actually on a. Isn't Halloween a full moon? It's a Saturday and it's a full moon or something this year.
Could be.
So we might have to do a special edition.
A Halloween special. There we go. I'm loving it already. So maybe
I'll wear my
your tinfoil hat.
My tinfoil hat.
Always.
You need to have that just in case.
You never know. You never know. All right.
All right. Well, we went over just a little, but I think we might have started just a little.
Yep.
Because I see that we've been on for 59 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yep.
So, wow. Late. Thank you. Anybody who has sat to listen to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I so appreciate it because it's so fun. Yes, absolutely.
Excited for more interesting comments in the future, I'm sure.
I hope. I really do hope so.
I know so.
Oh, and Rachel too.
Oh, thank you, Rachel.
Rachel, we'll see you soon.
Mm.
Yeah, we'll see her soon. So, all right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Hope you take away something, some bit of information. And if not, I hope you had a good time. Because I know we certainly did.
Certainly did.
Always do.
I think there was definitely some whimsical gems in the barriers walls conversation. So
I think so too. And I
wrote stuff down, so that means I
wrote
know that
some
there was.
down. Yeah.
All righty. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.